The problem is, the biggest problem you have is when you're in love,
Yeah.
and you love this girl and she loves you, everything's great, right?
Yeah.
And of course you just go with anything, you know, you're just so happy that she's going to marry you and she's gorgeous and all those things, you know.
Yeah.
And she does love you and everything is fine, but you forget that she's got a family behind her.
Yeah.
And her family is the one that's putting pressure on her all the time to say,
Yeah.
yes, buy a house, buy a house, buy a house. Actually, you don't have to buy a house.
No, you don't have to.
You know what I mean? You can stay in an apartment and say, look, let's buy a house overseas. You know what I
Sure.
mean?
It's better.
Let's buy a house wherever I'm from. Let's do that. But if you are going to buy a house, then of course make sure it's in both your name, 50-50
Yes,
shares
yes.
in the house. Or if you can try and do it, just put it in your name. You know what I mean? And say, let's
Agreed.
put it in my name, because when we sell the house, we can take the money out.
Sure.
Because a lot of people want to leave China. They don't want to live in China forever. So they might say, well, where will we go after a few years when we have kids? As soon as you have kids, then they say, let's leave China because we want him to have education overseas.
Sure.
So you can say, well, let's think about that. We can sell the house, and because it's only my name, I can take the money out of China more easy. So
Sure.
that's
It's
a
true.
good way to do it.
It is also a lot harder for Chinese people to get money out. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Because the house costs millions.
Yeah.
It'll be your biggest asset.
I do think that's very valuable advice. It's not trying to be anti-China or anything, but
Yeah, for sure.
as a foreigner, you can be taken advantage of so easily. And I know a lot of people who have. You know,
Sure.
expats that I've met here, subscribers of mine who've gone through this
Yeah,
and
sure.
lost a lot of money buying houses and cars and stuff here, and
Yeah.
then they divorce and they can't get a cent, like a cent, not a single cent.
Yeah,
So
right.
they lose
and
it
also,
all.
I have one case of the French bakery in Shanghai. It was in Beijing, actually.
Yeah.
So the older guy came to China. So he's about 60, and he met this girl who's 30.
Right.
You know, she said, "Oh, I should take care of him," and he put all his investment into his whole retirement, everything, into this French bakery. And she said to him, "Oh, you know, why don't you open it in my name? You know what I mean? Because it's just easy to get the license," which is total
Nonsense.
bullshit.
No, it's
Yeah,
nonsense,
basically,
yeah.
if I can
Yeah,
say
yeah.
that.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, because you can get the license. It doesn't matter if you're Chinese or they just check what the company is. If it's
Yeah.
a company, the company can get the food license. So
Right.
she told him that, and then eventually he started doing this thing. And then one day he came to his shop and he bought coffee. You know, he just had a coffee, sat down, and he wanted to leave. And then she said, "Why are you leaving? You need to pay for the coffee." He's like, "Well,
Really?
I
What?
own
Yeah.
the place."
Yeah, exactly.
And she called the police.
Really?
And said he's trying to leave and made this whole dispute, things like this, and you know, and then he said that she was keeping coming there and talking to her like he's a crazy. Anyway, long story, he lost all his business,
Right.
and he actually lent money from me and my friend
Yeah.
to actually try and leave China, and
Really?
he was destroyed. You know.
Yeah, yeah,
And
it
he
can
had no proof, nothing, not
Really?
one single piece of paper that said he was the owner. She was the owner.
Yeah.
And her cousin, which actually turned out to be her boyfriend,
Oh,
who was working there, actually owned it and everything. And it's still there, the French bakery. You see the French bakery in Beijing, never go there.
oh, okay. I think I'm going to pay them a visit one of these days. In
Yeah,
fact,
sure.
if I go to Beijing next time, you can
If
bet
you go
on
to
it.
Beijing, go to Annie's. We opened Annie's in
Okay.
China, and it's really great. Annie's Italian restaurant in Beijing.
Okay, fantastic. Now I'll go to the French bakery and just say, "Hi, your husband sends his regards," or whatever, your
Yeah.
fake French husband.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, fantastic.